Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're looking at a really pivotal event stirring things up in the Democratic Republic of Congo, former President Joseph Kabila's arrival in Goma.
That's right. Now, this trip follows a, shall we say, rather unusual stopover in Kigali, Rwanda.
Exactly. And it's crucial to place this in context, isn't it? For years now, Joseph Kabila has faced sharp criticism, especially from the current president, Félix Tshisekedi.
Yes, Tshisekedi openly accuses him of being the real mastermind behind the AFC-M23 rebellion. You know, that armed group causing such devastation in the east.
Allegedly with active support from Paul Kagame's Rwanda.
Precisely. Tshisekedi, and many observers too, see the supposed link between Kabila and Kagame not as just coincidence, but as a deliberate strategy.
A strategy aimed at destabilizing the DRC, weakening the central government, and letting their networks keep a tight grip on the resource-rich regions.
Right. So our mission today, essentially, is to untangle the threads of this complex situation using the information available.
We'll examine the motivations, the potential fallout from Kabila's trip, bearing in mind the serious accusations against him and the very tense regional backdrop.
Okay, let's start with the controversial journey itself and the reactions it sparked. Kabila's arrival in Goma happened amidst this palpable atmosphere of tension, of uncertainty.
But it was really his transit through Kigali that caused, well, a genuine shockwave, a lot of outrage in the DRC. That choice sends a powerful message, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Kigali, I mean, that's the capital of the country suspected of actively backing the rebels destabilizing eastern Congo. So Kabila passing through there.
It immediately fueled those accusations of collusion. Tshisekedi and many analysts saw it as tangible proof of coordination between Kabila and Kagame.
Coordination aimed, they believe, at undermining the DRC and the state's authority. What would the practical results of that coordination look like on the ground?
Well, Kabila's arrival in Goma itself just added fuel to the fire. He had this large, though reportedly discreet, security detail.
Which, instead of reassuring people, kind of reinforced the idea of a possible understanding with armed groups.
For many, this whole maneuver looks like a real destabilization plan. An attempt to create chaos that could lead to a political and territorial reshuffle in the DRC.
The risks of a major crisis are therefore very real. There's even talk, alarmingly, of redrawing borders. That's quite frightening.
Terrifying, yes. Now, what about these reports of potential secret meetings? Sources close to Kabila's party, the PPRD, suggest meetings were planned in Goma.
Meetings between the former president, key figures from the M23 AFC, and local notables. All supposedly very discreet.
And the aim? To discuss the current crisis and work out common strategies. If these reports are accurate, what are the immediate implications?
Well, such direct contact between Kabila and the M23 AFC, a group Kinshasa views as terrorists, and many see as an extension of Rwandan interests, will just intensify the accusations against this alleged collaboration. What kind of future does it sketch out for the DRC?
The supposed logic behind this collusion is pretty grim. It seems to be about weakening Kinshasa, carving up Congolese territory, and creating lasting chaos that benefits Rwanda and Kabila's old guard.
A truly terrifying prospect for regional stability and, of course, for the DRC's sovereignty itself.
Now, Kabila himself justified his return by saying he needed to save the house on fire, referring to his April 8th statement where he highlighted the worsening security and institutional situation.
Right, but many observers see this more as a calculated political maneuver, maybe even a diversion tactic.
A calculated move, yes, aimed at regaining lost influence and undermining Félix Tshisekedi's government, which he never really seemed to accept.
And the fact that he starts his return in the east, this conflict-torn region, that's widely seen as a troubling signal, isn't it? Suggesting closeness to the insurgent groups.
That geographical choice surely isn't accidental.
Meanwhile, militarily, the clashes between the Congolese army, the FARC, and the AFC-M23 are ongoing in North Kivu.
So in that context, Kabila's presence in Goma is widely perceived by the population and political class as, well, implicit support for M23's activities.
What are we hearing about how locals are reacting to his presence there?
Well, Kabila did deny any links to M23 when he met with Thabo Mbeki, but those denials are struggling to convince people.
Right. Tshisekedi's accusations, painting him as the M23's hidden leader and the architect of destabilization, are gaining more traction.
The idea of a planned collusion with Kagame to break up the DRC for major geopolitical gains is being discussed more and more openly. Is the risk of the conflict escalating real?
It certainly seems so. And the situation's even more worrying because Kabila's party, the PPRD, is trying to revive its activities for its 23rd anniversary.
An attempt at a political comeback right in the middle of this extremely volatile climate, marked by all the tensions we've discussed.
Exactly. And adding to that tension, Jean-Pierre Bemba made some incredibly serious accusations against Kabila during a rally in Kikwit.
He accused him of being directly involved in the violence, calling him the architect of the AFCM-23 insurgency, in full complicity with Kagame. Accusations like that, from a major political figure, carry significant weight.
The alleged goals of this plot, according to Bemba, are alarming. Seizing natural resources, reshaping regional alliances to benefit Rwanda and the Kabilist network, and generally boosting their influence.
Accusations that naturally echo Tshisekedi's criticisms and paint a very dark picture of the situation.
And while all this is happening, back in Kinshasa, intelligence services raided a property belonging to Kabila.
They seized vehicles, generators, solar panels, equipment, an operation widely seen as an attempt to dismantle support infrastructure for a rebellion attributed to Kabila and Kagame.
How did Kabila's camp react to that?
His wife, Marie Olive Lembe, responded quickly. She denounced it as political looting, aimed at tarnishing her husband's image and undermining his political return, and she disputed the existence of any evidence.
A strong denial, which just highlights the depth of the current political divisions.
And now, everyone's waiting for Joseph Kabila to address the nation. A message that could potentially be delivered from Goma or maybe even Kigali, according to some rumors.
It feels like a crucial moment, doesn't it? It could mark a turning point in this explosive situation.
Meanwhile, Tshisekedi continues to warn about a possible coordinated military offensive involving Kabila and Kagame using the AFCM-23.
So the current climate is just thick with anxiety, suspicion, and uncertainty. The risks of political destabilization, institutional breakdown, and territorial fragmentation for the DRC and the wider Great Lakes region are immense.
The specter of new conflicts is looming over this already troubled region.
So, to sum up, Kabila's arrival in Goma amid these high tensions, the accusations of collusion with Rwanda and the M23, the fierce political reactions, and the fragile situation in the east, it all raises profound questions.
What are Joseph Kabila's real intentions? What happens next in the DRC?
It really forces us to think about regional stability and the potential consequences if this crisis escalates further. A full-blown conflict would be devastating for the entire Great Lakes region.
We absolutely need to keep a close eye on developments.
Our analysis today drew on information presented on YouTube by Traveling with Elaine. As always, it's vital to consult various sources to grasp the full complexity here.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.